Apparently it was a very good walk. Sveicināt visiem. Hello everybody. I'm Mara, the director of Riga Circus, and I'm really happy to have you all here today. For those who need translation, the first word, tiem, kam vajadzīgs tulkojums, tulkojums ir pieejams jūsu austiņās, jo konferences notiks angliski. So just instructions about translation in Latvian if needed. Thank you very much for coming to here. It's very nice. Last time we met in the conference Riga Icce 4 years ago, and unfortunately couldn't have that 2 years ago. So it's even a greater pleasure to have all of you here today. As you may know, the conference is organized by Baltic Nordic Circus Network with Circus Seat and hosted by us, Riga Circus, and we are very honored that Baltic Nordic Circus Network has chosen Riga to take place the conference. I would just want to start, as I don't see you very well. I hope you see each other very well, but maybe you could just turn on your right and left and meet the people next to you to make sure you know the names before we start to Yeah, this seems much better. Good. You have a lot of time. So we have coffee breaks and World Cafe, so you'll be able to continue this. But yeah, the first thing I wanted to say that this conference really is about exchange and talking to each other and creating new ideas together. We have some amazing people who have come here to talk and inspire us, but we're here to inspire each other. So please share, be together, and let's enjoy being together. Now I have Lena, who has probably something to say.
Hello. Hello everybody, hello and welcome. So as you can tell, if you haven't been around this bunch before, it's a lovely bunch. And Riga is a very friendly place, so welcome. I'm representing Circus Syd and one of the co-host organizations of Baltic Nordic Circus Network, and we co-produce this event together with Riga Circus. So welcome. And I wanted to say that, it's been a long time coming. So last time we did this was in 2018, and the circumstances were entirely different. Was anyone there at the 2018? Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, so it's slightly different. We were at the Latvian Academy of Culture in the center of town, and now Riga Circus has its own space and a whole team of wonderful people. And so to do it first rather than last, I want to say a really big thank you to the team that has been working super hard in this week's leading up to the event. So let's give them a round of applause. You've met them all at the desk and all around the building, and they're super helpful and know everything that's going on. So I'm very excited to kick this off. And so without further ado, say thank you to Riga Circus, and also thank you to Nordic Culture Ministry, Nordic Kulturfond, who funded this event.
As you may know, Riga Circus is the national circus center of Latvia, and since a little bit more than 5 years, we have been going in a new strategic direction, and education in a circus school has been a core of it. And we are planning on developing this circus education as we see it as as really the base for the future development of the community of circus, not only in Latvia, but in Baltics. And during these years, we have been actively collaborating as well with Latvian Academy of Culture, and we hope to collaborate even more. So I would like to invite Elmar Stenkos, representing the Latvian Academy of Culture, to say a few words.
Hello, everybody. I have a little bit stress. Maybe I say something in Latvian and I'll translate. Man liels pagodinājums būt šeit, jo es saprotu, ka šis notikums, kas ir ļoti īpašs šeit Latvijā. Yeah, maybe you could...
I'm very honored to be here because I understand that this event is very important here in Latvia.
Latvijas Kultūras akadēmija jau iepriekš ļoti sadarbojās ar Rīgas cirka skolu, gan sadarbībā tika dots meistarklases, gan arī nākotnes plāni, kā mēs varētu attīstīt cirka mākslu Latvijas Kultūras akadēmija kā augstākā izglītība.
Latvian Academy of Culture has been collaborating with Riga Circus and Riga Circus School since a while through different workshops, but as well by thinking and planning how in the future there could be higher education possibilities for circus in the Latvian Academy of Culture.
Pats ikdienā strādāju un mācu jaunos aktierus, topošos aktierus. Un es redzu, ka viņiem nav vitāli nepieciešama arī praktiskas nodarbības un iepazīstināšana, tikai teorētiski par cirka mākslu, bet arī praktiski.
In my daily work, I work with the new actors and directors, and I see that it is a necessity to not only discover circus on a theoretical level, but actually to have a practical approach on it.
Šobrīd tā situācija ir tāda, ka mums Latvijas Kultūras akadēmija nepietiek telpas un līdzīga problēma, līdzīgi kā cirka skolai ir. Un mēs gaidām, ka mēs varēsim paplašināties, un iespējams pēc 3 gadiem mums būs lielākas telpas, un tieši šīs zināšanas, ar kuru dalīsieties jūs, starptautiskie viesi, mums tiešām noderēs tad, kad mēs varēsim jau izveidot lielu nopietnu programmu Latvijas Kultūras akadēmijā.
So at the moment in the academy we don't have enough space. Similarly, Riga Circus faces the problem of the space, but we're hoping that in 3 years we are going to have much bigger space and that we're going to be able to use this knowledge that you're sharing today or international guests and create a program as well in Latvian Academy.
Bet jau tagad jūs darat ļoti lielu būtisku darbu, jo tad jūsu zināšanas un jūsu prasmes un izglītība, ko jūs izmantojat, ienāk jau interešu izglītībā.
But already today, what all of you do, it's a great job, and what you're doing is already coming into as a leisure education.
Un arī cirka māksla kļūsi ir tāpat kā teātra māksla, starpdisciplināra tāda zona.
And circus as theater becomes a very interdisciplinary field.
Un šī interese jau no mazas kājas bērniem, tie būs tie jaunie un ceru topošie studenti Latvijas Kultūras akadēmijā, kas jau apgūst cirku mākslu, un mēs ļoti ceram, ka tas tā notiks nākotnē.
And this interest already that you put in the young kids, we hope that they are going to be the future students of the professional program in Latvian Academy of Culture.
Es apsveicu šo mazo, tikpat arī lielo, cilti. Jūs esat tāda cilts, kas popularizē šo nozīmīgo, manuprāt, teātra virzienu, kā cirka māksla.
So I'm congratulating this small but important tribe that is celebrating and boosting circus arts as a part of it's very important as a part of scenic arts.
Jūs esat tik smaidīgi un tik radoši.
You're so smiley and creative.
Un es ticu, ka jūsos ir spēks.
And I believe you have the force.
Un es paīstam priecīgs, ka jūs esat šeit Rīgā.
And I'm very, very happy that you're here in Riga.
Lai jauk šī konference.
Have a nice conference. Thank you. Thank you very much, Elmar, for this very warm, welcoming speech. And now a very important person, the director of Riga Circus School. And my dear colleague Marie is going to introduce you to the program today. And give her a big applause because she has done an amazing job together with Gedra in putting it all together.
Thank you. As Mara said, I'm Marie, and I don't know what can I add after Elmar's speech. That was so inspiring. Thank you so much. and I'm a head of Riga Circus School and also one of the organizers of this conference. And I have to say that the biggest challenge we had when planning the conference is how to open up a topic of circus education to as many people as we can. Either you are a circus performer or a circus artist working in a field for many years, or either you are a circus student just starting to realize what circus is, or either you are a performer from different arts field and you want to get to know more what is circus. So that was our biggest challenge, to make this topic as broad as we can. And I think that is what circus is about. It is about accepting the challenge, and I think we did it greatly, and I think you will see that too. And so the circus for me is to don't be so that you're not afraid of the challenge. And I invite you to open up your mind and challenge yourself or your thoughts that you have about the circus, and may you experience differently this in this conference. So when we can go through the program of today. Yes, there. Oh, it's. Yeah. Here's the program. So we started already with the registration and the opening words. And in a few minutes we will do a keynote who's done by a wonderful human being and also an artistic director of Circus Gymnasium, Daniel Golko. And he's going to talk about artistic thinking in education and creative being as growth. And then we will continue with World Cafe, which means that we have like a small discussions in small groups that are led by 5 leaders, and they are going to present their topics or questions that are interested in talking about artistic thinking in education. And then there's going to be a small coffee break with also some snacks, and we will have like a good networking option. And afterwards, we will go to have a group photo. Yes, that's also part of the conference as well. And then we will have some workshops, and as you can see, there are 3 workshops going on today. It's the one exploring creativity and circus with Daniel. Then there's how to engage communities through circus arts, and we are super happy to have Texas Holly, who has traveled for so many hours from far, far away, and you will, and you will get to meet her as well. And then we have ideas of inclusion with Hanne, and this is going to be a bit of a longer workshop, but that's okay, you're not going to be bored at all. And then later in the evening we will have an after party with dinner and networking. And at 8 o'clock we are super happy also to have Runa with us, who is going to do a bit of music. And yes, and this is how the first day of the conference looks like. So let's enjoy this conference, and thank you for having us. So thank you for your applauses, and I welcome Daniel to have a keynote here.
I love hugs now that there's... Super. So first thing I want to propose is if a few people want to move down into the first seats, because partly what we're talking about is bodily engagement and also about energy, and it's like this is a wall. So go ahead, feel free. Feel free. No, you're perfect. No, you're perfect. Yes, thank you. Maybe 1 or 2 more would be just like so great, And it's a more exciting, and now the second row is emptied out, so that is so good, that is so good. Not there, that's my seat. That's my seat. Yeah, I decided also to move to the front. Okay, super. Okay, let's get this going. So,
I will. My name's Daniel Gulko. I have a French company, Kahin Kaha, based in Marseille. Circus company since 20 years. It's been there. And right now, I'm in Stockholm. I'm directing the Circus High School and teaching at the Circus University and doing projects kind of all over. I've been doing circus for 40 years, but I'm really like from the beginning. But I'm not a circus artist. I was also doing dance. I was also doing theater. I was also writing. But my filter is circus. I always was a circus person in that way. Like it all fits in there. So my talk comes to that place. Here I was asked to do this. I also want to just say a big thank you to the organizers of this event. And it's a crazy time, you know, and you guys are really close to Ukraine. And the Baltics have a long history, relationship with what was the Soviet Union. And I just want to recognize it's really amazing that you're doing this in this moment. And I think it's really important, the work we do, even though it can be silly and clearly useless. But culture is like a pair of glasses, you know. Culture is a spectacle. You know this word spectacles? Cultures are spectacles to see the world. And so it's really important what we're doing to help understand this really crazy world that we are now forced to live in. So thank you for that. I'm a white, male-identified person, and I just want to also recognize I'm happy to be in a project with so many female-identified people in responsible roles. I think that's like, this is a power place. And I want to also say that I really welcome my partners who are not here, who are functionally disabled, black and brown people and transgender people. And I really welcome us to open this space up more and more to a diverse crowd of people. Okay? So here we are. I was asked to give this artistic thinking in circus, and I immediately I got rid of that. I didn't like it. So I think I ripped up my contract, and I decided to call it creative being. Is it a better name? Not really. It's not any better. But it was better for me. It was good for me because I felt it was more artistic of a start for me, because it inspired me, because it made me curious, and I had to go look things up a little bit, and it was educative for me, you know, because it got me starting to think about what I really wanted to talk about. So, if I remember what I'm doing here, Sven's is my right-hand person up there. He's really hot to trot. Okay. So, I guess I should start to talk about this. I guess you can go one more. I can't read anything in the slides. So creativity, you know, the goal is to surprise ourselves and surprise others. So I went and I got the definition. And I thought, because there's a translator, is there somebody that would read it out loud in English? Anyone willing? So it's not me? Wow, Tiffaine, merci beaucoup.
Create, to bring into being, early 15th century, from Latin creatus, past participle of creare, to make, bring forth, produce, procreate, beget. Beget? Cause, related to seres and to crescere, arise, be born, increase, grow, from pi root care, to grow. Divan writes that the original meaning of creare was to make grow, which can still be found in older texts, related, created, creating.
So this is cool. Create is about growth, about bringing forth. So, for instance, getting other people involved and means I work less. Creativity is lazy. This is a really good principle to remember. So, so this word, so this word comes from Ceres. Ceres was the goddess of agriculture. in Greek mythology, in Roman, excuse me, in Roman, because in Greek it was Demeter that you might know. And Demeter, it comes from the word mater, mother. And the da comes from ga, because that's how languages work, which is Gaia. It was Earth Mother, right? So creativity is like a sacred act that we do to bring forth, to make things grow. And this root, the root of this word is, you can go to the next one, it's care, comes from Proto-Indian, like what was before our languages. And from that word you can make cereal, interesting enough. Remember that? So there are words there, create, creation, creature. A creature, we're created, you know? So we are being, creative being, it works well. So creature, we have Ceres over there, crescendo, crescent, croissant. Eating croissant is a creative artistic act. I agree. Bravo la France. Ouais. Concrete. Art is concrete. Crew and recruit, yeah, because it's also, we do this together. It's our crew. What else do we have? Procreation, very important. Procreate. Art is sexy. Can't, of course, if you're working with kids, it can't be sexy, but we must procreate to get those kids, right? Like it's part of the process. Recreate, recreation. Art is lazy. Art is having fun.
What about procrastination?
It's a different route, my dear. We'll talk after. What else do we have? And last few is griot. If you know this word, it's an African term, but it comes from care. It comes from, and it's the storytellers. That's what we're doing. And this last one, sincere. Nice. Isn't that nice? So that's to give you some thought. I didn't want to talk about art because for me, I mean, art is beautiful, but art is a market. And I want to think about, it's how I make my living. But the market also formats. The market is looking for products to put on the shelf, and those products must fit the shelf. And so what I want is a space before the market where I can create, where I can be creative. And sometimes some of that won't fit into the market, and sometimes that can change the market, and sometimes I will do what the market wants. So this talk is about creativity. I do like, I'm from France, and I do like the markets in France, the farmers' markets where you can buy beautiful tomatoes much cheaper than in Sweden. So sometimes the market, serves me. Okay, so you can see I'm talking a lot of English language. Thank you for letting me speak my language. And I like to speak. I have to say, at vainojet es nerunaju latviski. I like language. Sven? So I'm talking about vocabularies, okay? This speech today is about vocabularies, and mainly we're talking about our circus vocabulary, as we can imagine. But there's many other vocabularies. So I'm using the English vocabulary right now, but I'm using other vocabularies at the same time. I'm using a certain strategy of timing and charm is part of my vocabulary. I'm using body language. I'm using a physical vocabulary. I'm expressing with my body. I'm trying to say things with my body that all of you can understand, because I feel that this will allow you to know better who I am. Did you see my little circus move? It's because circus is part of my vocabulary. We can change. So I did a little, I didn't want to put too much effort into this speech. So I had a project yesterday with high school students. And they had said, we don't know how to create. Like, can you tell us how to create? I'm like, yeah, great. So I did a little game for them, and I made a kind of grid. And I chose some vocabularies. And I said, let's try to think about, if we can think about creating just in one vocabulary at a time. So these are ones I chose, they're mine. There's so many more. But these are some I used. The technical vocabulary, specifically of circus, so my tricks, which the kids talk about a lot, which I never talk about, but I do talk about technical vocabulary. Body-based vocabulary. Mind or conceptual vocabulary. Emotional states. I really like this. I call my circus emotional circus. I like starting from this place. It's really interesting to me. Story or content, what we could maybe call a theatrical place. Maybe this one could be called a choreographic place. Social issues. Sometimes we can start from climate change, and we'll come from there. The musicality, simply, this is something we often do, little explorations. Take a little music and choreograph to that music. Make a piece for that, yeah? A meeting between visual design and sound design. And outside influences could be all kinds of, taking something from outside of me. Cultural, sports, games, etc. So we started from there. But to do that, I think first we need to define creativity. Anyone, can someone, do we have a second mic? No? Photographer, could you please give that to somebody in the... Can somebody give their definition of... and if you need to speak in your language, try to get it translated. Anybody? Come on. Your definition of creativity. Okay, I'll give mine. It's okay. I already looked it up. I know I didn't want to make you work too hard. Next. Okay, creativity. It's a noun. Latin. I'm sorry, I can't read this. Could somebody please give a definition? Otherwise, I can't finish this. Somebody here? Somebody? And try it. Just give it a try. Take a risk. What's going to happen? You won't get arrested. Yeah, I know you're shy. Come on. I'm not going on until someone does this, so. It's going to be a long, long keynote.
Gardening and showing the garden. Sharing the garden.
Are you, can I
Would you want to hug?
shake or hug? That is amazing. Another one, please. I only have 6 minutes of keynote, so I really need you guys to do this. Over there, up there.
Playfulness.
Playfulness. Sweet. Let's do one more.
Openness.
Sweet. Openness. Gardening. Playfulness. Openness. Now you're going for it. Approach. An approach. Yeah, I'll go with that. There was another one there.
I said
Expansion. Growth. Sharing. We'll get back to you. Okay, I'm going to go on. You guys are now, we're going to go on, okay? You can talk to me after if you have more definitions. Okay, so we did a good definition. My definition of creativity is going to be curiosity, asking a question, asking questions, okay? It's good to have a lot of definitions of creativity. It would not be very creative to have one definition, but I'll give mine. So I took this, my list of approaches of vocabularies, next one please, and I think creativity is a seed. Huh? Creativity is a seed. Pay attention. Creativity is a seed that we're going to plant, right? It's a question. These questions are seeds. We plant them and we see what grows. Some of these seeds are like big seeds. They take a long time to grow, years. They take a lot of care. Some of them are like weeds. You scatter them and they fill up the garden. Yeah? So partly we need to know which questions to plant. So I chose some questions. They're actually quite stupid questions. Next slide. That we would start from And the first one I answered for you, just to help you understand my choices here. How do I want to work? So if I'm in a technical vocabulary, I'm focusing on my technique. Body, I'm going to start from my body. It's pretty clear. Mind or concept, I'm going to work from an abstract concept, or I'm going to create a process and work from the process. Emotional states, start from how I feel. Story content, tell a story. Social issues, research a political or social situation. Musicality, start from the music. Outside influence, inspiration from some other source. It's not so brilliant, but it's what I did yesterday. So this was my experiment, and I'm testing on you, and maybe you're going to give me feedback so I make this into something more interesting. But I did it like a game, and I had this these were squares that you had to lift up to see what was underneath. And so you had to choose a question. What do I want to do? What do I want to show, speak about? Why am I doing this? And I said, okay, so you take a question that really speaks to you, you take an approach that speaks to you, and you look and you see what that is and you do it. I thought it was a brilliant idea. The students thought it was really stupid. They didn't like it at all. They thought it was really dry. So I'm hoping with you we get a little farther, okay? So what I propose now is just we're going to choose one of these and we'll look at it. It's really not a great part of my keynote, but I need to try with you guys at least once. So somebody want to choose like one of these, a color? Don't. Purple. Sorry? Purple. So you're talking about, I think, I can't tell the colors from here. Are you talking about social issues? Oh, that's a rough and tough one. Way to go. Let's do it. So Sven's, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So what do I want to do? I can use the news or another source to dive in, and I can interpret some discussion or action I have had in a social situation. So the idea is that I can start from there and see what happens and just make something. I got a question, I make a choice, and then I have something to go with. What else did I say? What do I want to show? A cause or a situation in the world that affects me. I just want to show my personal engagement. Try to get this out in the world. Why am I doing this? To get myself aware, to make others aware. I want to change the world. That's a great goal for circus. I like it. Okay, so these were some things like that. Please come help me make this into an interesting game. I just haven't figured out. I think there's another step there somewhere. But we'll go on, okay, to try to define like what we're actually doing, okay? So you can go on too, Spence. You have to skip 1, 2, 3, 2. One more. One less, yeah. So, what's your name? Kirsten. Ah, I know you, Kirsten. Yeah. I'm really slow on these things. Thank you, Kirsten. So now we're at Kirsten's section of the keynote. Tools for composting. Oh no, that's supposed to be composing. Composing, that's an English joke. Tools for composing. So this is, I'm going to do a workshop this afternoon, and so I'm going to try to give some tools for composing. And so here I'm not going to give you tools for composing, but I thought I would give you just like one principle, and maybe this principle can allow you yourself to create your tools for composing, okay? Let me catch up to my... So, I think Jarkko knows my story. So I do see creativity as questions that we plant and then we need to garden. Yeah, I do see that. I agree deeply with Kirsten. So there's all kind of tools. And so my basic overriding principle for creating is the next slide. God. Yes. Welcome to my keynote. It starts now. Some of you are nervous and looking towards the door. God, so this is one of my favorite stories. And when I went to India looking for God, like everyone, like many young people, and I met this wise old man sitting on the edge of the Ganges River in Varanasi. I don't know if anyone knows India. India is very dirty. I mean, if you don't know India, and there's horrible dogs. I love dogs. They're like, you don't want to get, these dogs are horrible. There's cows walking through the street, so there's cow shit everywhere. There's many things, but it's also very vital. It's a really vital place. And they're burning bodies near the edge of the river and throwing the ashes and the bones into the river. And people are in the river washing themselves, washing their beautiful silken saris and hanging them up in the sun. It's just a beautiful example of chaos. And this old man, he was sitting next to me, and he said, do you know the principle of the world? There is only one secret. Oh, wow, I've been waiting for this. Tell me. God. I kind of expected that answer. God. G-O-D. It is the principle: generate, operate, and destroy. So it's not God like our Christian or Muslim or Jewish God, like this one bearded lady up in the sky, right? It's not that one. It's the Hindus, they have like so many different gods. But they all can kind of line up into these three principles of Brahma, Shiva, Krishna. And you have generate, operate, and destroy. The whole principle of the world is based on this concept. Things come into being, they exist for a moment, and they disappear. And so I was like, this is it. I mean, no, I wasn't like that, but it's like 15 years later, I was like, this is it. This is my principle for making. So, one more slide. So these are my tools for composition, is understanding the difference between generate, operate, and destroy. Because we're often trying to do them all at the same time, you know, and this kind of messes us up. You can also think of them, so they're in the world, they're in creating. You know, we make some stuff, we edit it out, and then we start over. And then the final edit is actually we perform it, right? André Simard in Montreal, when I was teaching at the Montreal school, super young, and I was also super acrobat, and he came from the Olympics, and they used the same principle. He would talk about it. He didn't use the word God. I don't think he likes God, but he said, you know, we separate the work into three places. We have acquisition of tech. I mean, and there's very little creativity in gymnastics. Acquisition, building routines, competition, right? So these principles, they apply also just clearly technically. So generate, we'll just like, I'm going to define them really quick for you, and maybe you'll tell me what you think. Generate is like to feel what's essential, is how I define it, feel what's essential. So we're talking about like awareness, being active, engaged, body engaged, observing something, and then reproducing it. Stupid ideas, very important. This is my gift to you. All ideas are stupid, all of them. They're really cheap. So now you know, if you have a stupid idea, that's perfect. That's all there is, are stupid ideas. Because it's the imagination. Anything's possible with the imagination, but it's also kind of cheap, you know. You're just generating. Has no value until you do something with it, but it's great to generate, okay? So then we go to operate. Next slide. I changed the color too. I thought it's like you can see there's an evolution. Subtle. Something subtle for you. Operate is like to clarify the essential. Often we're like doing this as we generate, and this is what I want to encourage people to. The workshop is only going to be generate. We're going to do very little operating. To clarify the essential. So once I have something, then I can clarify. Arthur Craven, who was the nephew of Oscar Wilde, that was his claim to fame, and who was a boxer, drug addict, poet. I guess that's pretty much every poet, isn't it? Jarkko, do you agree? And he said, one of the amazing things that he said that I remember and I use a lot is the imagination imitates. It's the critical sense that creates. In other words, we can only imagine what's within our experience. That's why ideas are cheap. But my critical sense, what I do with it, is why I start to really create something new, as our friend up there mentioned to us. He was right on topic. I take something and I can transform it to create. So that's the operating principle. So that's where what we call dramaturgy, what we call choreography, what we call coherence, using time and space, relations and ruptures. All these things like that we apply to our material, which can come. And these are spirals. Right? I can come back again, I can make a choreographic principle, and then I'm going to observe it in action, and then I'm going to again operate and make some choices. So last one, I think I'm on time here. Oop. Just check. Can we go one more slide? Yeah, perfect. Destroy, Kari. This is, I love this one because it seems like we shouldn't really be talking about destruction. But circus is violent, and actually destruction is like a part of nature, a part of art. There's another word you can use, which is discernment. I'll say it slowly for the translators. Discernment. Yeah, so it's making choices, right? And there's one other D you can use, which is do, right? Because the moment we perform, we destroy the piece. Right? It will never again be what it was in that moment, no matter how many times we do it. For most of us, it'll always be different. So that's the final step of destruction, is actually performing it. It's a transformation. It's a surrendering into the work can be a part of this process. Transforming the form, the content, the context. Positioning myself, my judgments, my opinions, my body engagement. These are all parts of discernment, of like the moment I make the work what it is. So voila. So if we're talking about the garden growing, it's like destroy is like first you prune and then you harvest. That would be the last destruction, right? We plant the seed, we give it some water, some shit. We really do. We give it some shit so it will grow well. We need some shit for it to grow well. And then we cut it back a bit so it will be strong, and then we harvest. So I'm right on time. So impressed. So I'm just going to show you this fun little video that came through my feed that expresses one version of this idea of, is it possible? Sven is making symbols to me like, I need 6 minutes. No, you don't have 6 minutes. With this idea of pure expression. And this is a really fun little video of this dancer that I'm discovering and I really like. And she is trying to say what's going on in her life in a way that to her therapist, and her therapist cannot understand this language that she is using, and he wants her to use a more rational language. And I felt like this was a great demonstration for you of this separation, how this therapist, we need him to come a little later into the work, right? So that we can express purely, and we need to kind of relax the therapist down a little bit, let them chill and open up to other possibilities of how we express ourselves. Talk a bit more. Easy for you to say, Svens. I think I could go backwards, I guess. So this is what the workshop today is going to be, this idea of when we're that creating is actually different processes. When I'm creating material, I should just allow myself to create, right? It's like if you start to plant things, and then, there's a little bit growing, and you pull it up to see, how's it look so far, right? No, I have to just plant, let it grow, let it grow, let it grow. I can't really affect it until it's grown, right? So we want to have this moment of generation. I'm going to just let you see this because my time is almost up, but she's fun. This is a 2-minute video, if it works. First time I use video in a PowerPoint, so we're still figuring it out. No sound?
How to contain!
I'm not really sure what's happening.
If you can get the sound stand, it's good.
I'm just a little confused as to whether or not this is an expression of the emotion. Do you think you could? Wow. Okay, that's a lot. Do you think you could constrain yourself to the more like the horizontal plane, sort of like in a seated? So, what emotions in particular are you experiencing while you are gyrating the pelvis in such a fashion?
It's like in my pelvis is all the rage of the universe, and then also all my personal anger is stored up in there.
This is awkward because the patient's perineum is not usually what I'm trying to communicate with.
See, that's the problem. I want to be understood, and I want to communicate, but I'm not sure how to be understood or communicate.
Have you tried expressing using the mouth parts instead of all of the other parts?
I don't think you get it. You're too stuck in your head.
Usually that is where thought is processed.
No, you're holding everything in. You're blocked in your heart. You need to release in the heart. I think you need to learn how to let go more. You need to connect to your inner child.
Hopefully it's on the ground.
If you give yourself room to play, you'll appreciate all that life has to offer.
I was alone so much as a child, a latchkey kid, you could say. My parents never had the time.
See, the problem is you're too still while you're talking. You need to move through these feelings.
Sometimes it's just all so lonely, you know?
It is so lonely. Yes, you're doing it.
I'm just so socially outcast as a youth, you know what I mean? So much darkness.
Let it go. Let it go.
Oh, sometimes it's too much introspection.
Yes, you're getting it. You're getting it.
I think I feel it. I really think this helps so much. Thank you. Same time next week?
And you can go back 4. That's it. Have a good conference.
Thank you so much, Daniel. It was great. Now we are going to go to the next part of the conference and use all this positive energy and inspiration to talk about it in more different and diverse approaches. So this is going to be European Cafe. It's going to happen in the hall that is just above. So you will climb stairs. You'll find there 5 tables with 5 different, with 5 the same symbols in 5 different colors. On the screen you will have all the topics with the color code, so you find a table where you want to sit. This is gonna go for 1.5 hours. You're gonna stay at a table for half an hour. So there are 5 tables and you only have 3 tables that you can do. Yes. It's this thing of missing out. We heard that really makes people want to come back. So yeah, fear of missing out. We want to create that. So you're going to only be able to do 3 of them. So we are going to go upstairs. You can sit down at the table, and there's going to be someone there who's going to share their experience or thoughts. And I just invite you to enjoy this time and have the time for discussion and create together this. Take care of this garden together. And then I'm going to be there with this bell. And in half an hour, I'm going to do the bell. And then it's like this game of chairs. When you're kids, you know, you walk around the chairs. And then when there's like the music stops, you have to sit down. It's kind of the same thing, except that you get up and you're trying to find a spot on another table. And then afterwards, when I'm going to do the bell the third time, so you will sit in 3 tables, you all get on the stairs and you don't move. We're going to take a group photo while you're all here. And then you can have a break. Does it sound clear? Cool, then let's just all go there.